You can't take the truth. And neither can you. And I've said countless times, people come here because out of desperation or inspiration. One or two of you think that you're inspired here and you're not. And then we got you. We have cameras in the castle. For those of the morons that meatheads haven't noticed, the next person that leaves the fucking front door open is going home. That's the real world, not the world you just came from. And since I'm on that role, there's no follow-up program here. There's no mentor program. There's nothing. Yet, not everybody in the room, but almost everybody in the room will call in a panic. Somewhere between the 2nd and 5th week, and then about the 10th or 15th week, and then when you get down to trying to do a deal. I say trying to do a deal because the first deals you try aren't going to be successful. And some of you will, well, there's only one girl, no offense, ma'am, but some of you will cry, and you'll call Winnica, or you'll call Thelma, or you'll call Kim, all of which won't get you to me. But occasionally, they'll bring me your file, and I'll open it up and I'll look at it. I'll look at the camera feed, and I'll decide whether I'm gonna take the call. So the day you call is not the day I will talk to you, and most of you won't make the mark, because you're gonna have homework tonight. You won't take it seriously. And I'll look at your homework, whether you took it serious or not, and I'll add that to the equation, whether you left the fucking door open, and whether I have any bad reports of you on you individually from the staff. Some of you come from rude countries that treat servants like dog shit. If you treat the staff that way, don't let the door hit you in your flabby ass on the way out. And I make no exception. And I would have stayed in the military the rest of my life, except for General Woodrow Vaughn, who said a young man like you can get rich in the civilian world. And a light bigger than that chandelier went off over my head. And fuck, money? I didn't believe it. And I did. The rest is history. So it is possible. So if your parents really, really, really loved you, they would have raised you right. And when parents come here and I ask them, why were you a fuck up? Or the granddaughter asks the grandfather, why were you a fuck up? And the two answers they give, I did the best I could, the best I knew. Well, and I always say, well, if we were at war, we'd be dead. And then we didn't hear any teenagers this time, but I mean, the teenagers are doing it without the baggage. Because they haven't been old enough to have life in the world pound them down. And they just do what they're told, i.e. Carlene's young boy, 16, who is challenging his parents. That is so fucking remarkable. What were you doing? Well, we all know you were doing dick nothing. Just like you, not paying attention, trying to sneak your cell phone so I can't see it under the desk. You can't walk in Beverly Hills with an iPhone and somebody's gonna whack you in the head and take it from you. I mean, something's not right. The world is upside fucking down. We're fucked. The other guys, and God bless them, everybody has the right to make a living. But they tell you their model is easy. It's not true. It's easy to make a few bucks. That's true. If you can't make money on the internet, a few of you got, metaphorically, you should blow your motherfucking brains out. Girls with 1 year education and living in Mumbai are making more money than you on the internet. You ought to kill yourself, metaphorically speaking, for it. There is no competition. Even the people that are in this room aren't going to compete against each other because some of you won't do it. You still don't want to accept it, because if they did, how come you didn't? Why don't you just say that? I'm a cunt. I've always been a cunt. I'll probably always be a cunt. So how do I uncunt myself to do what these morons have done? That's the real question. But nobody asks that. The only way you're going to know that you can do it is you got to go out and do it. Every fucking day. In some cases, if your wives or significant others, whatever, are really supportive, they're your virtual assistant. Except they're not virtual, they're there. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But the first time that you miss Valentine's Day, that's the end of your assistant support, period. First time you miss her birthday, period. First time you missed a soccer game for your kid or whatever the fuck, end. They're supportive. But in your own mind, ask, what's their pay price to action? How much are they really willing to sacrifice to be on my bus with me? And words are cheap. You can't have a CEO until you can fucking pay the motherfucker. They're not gonna come work for free. The board members work for free, ostensibly, because they're getting free founders equity. But you're not gonna get people in there. I mean, remember I said yesterday, the Onassis people says, you want the measure of employee loyalty, Dan? How many paychecks will they work for nothing? And normally it's zero. The Viking Bitches has extraordinary leadership skills. Her board moved from Houston to Dallas or vice versa. That has never happened in 53 years of me doing this, where they move on their fucking dime for a slag that squats the pee, that bleeds every 28 days. I've never seen that before. And then she fires him. Most in this room couldn't do that. That's unheard of. Just like the 2 deals that Peter, that's unfucking heard of. You don't hear about that in the world. You just don't. So, but I mean, these people are gonna work for nothing. Some of you were raised, and I can probably handpick them. You can be anything you want in life, Johnny, but that's a fucking lie. That's like, I won't come in your mouth. That's a fucking lie, because you can't. Unless the stars juxtapose a certain way, and you went to a certain kind of school, you can't be anything you want to be. And all the questions are based on your own personal nuance. Insecurity, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence. All of them. And that's normal. So this is not impossible. I'm not talking about, Star Wars shit. So that makes it even harder for you to accept. You got excuses, your parents were poor, okay? The Williams' father was poor. Tiger Woods' father was poor. So that's not an excuse, is it? Now, I'm not expecting you to go down and put a cap in your ass of your mother or father, although they deserve it for fucking sure, for what they did to you. Sometimes some of the grandfatherly type guys on the board, or grandmotherly types, is there anything, that you need some comfort on? I don't even know how to ask the question because I never asked this to anybody. You need any help, something. Nobody ever asked me, how are you, Dan? In my 53-year career, nobody's ever asked me, you okay, Dan? In 53 fucking years. But you see it on all these fucking movies and in your personal lives. Nobody gives a shit how you are. That's all horseshit. And another thing they don't want to hear is I'm working on it. You'd be laughed out of the fucking building. You're expected to have the answers. There's a message here, guys. Success leaves clues. Everything that comes out of your corporate lawyers and your corporate accountants is major shareholder friendly. Now, some big law firms, white shoe firms, won't do that. They'll send you an email, a letter, recent Delaware law, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then you email back, well, this is the way I want it done. If you're telling me you can't do it that way, then I'll have to move on to another law. But it took you 82 zillion hours to find that cocksucker, so you're not gonna write that email. And you're gonna go along with whatever they push down your throat. One of my mentees back in the, early on in the seminar process, hard money lender, he foreclosed on a grandmother on Christmas Eve, and he called CBS. CNN wouldn't come, CBS, and the sheriffs were taking the furniture out of her house. And instead of putting it in the truck, he said, just stack it on the lawn. They set it on fire with the grandmother crying on the steps over there and the furniture being burned. And then he threw a couple of teddy bears and shit from the grandchildren in there. The Castle Man taught me how to do this. Dan Peña, goddamn Castle Man. He's a ruthless bastard. We didn't have to make another foreclosure in 3-4 years. But money's not everything, gentlemen and ladies. But it's the only thing anybody keeps track of. Every board has at least one guy who likes to kick the tires, likes to go out there and get in the trenches, duke it out. And you cherish those guys or gals. And it's normally a guy, he's tired, he can only bounce his grandkids so much on his knee. He can't play tennis anymore, he got a tennis elbow, and he can't play golf anymore because he's got a golfer's elbow in the other arm. So he wants to get out of the house. Now, there's a fine line here because you're not paying for him to get out of the house. You gotta make that fucking crystal fucking clear. They're operating on their own dime, their own peso, their own shekel. And you can't overdo this because I overdid it. My kids can't stand to be in tuxedos now because I made them dress for dinner every Sunday night growing up. Dress for dinner. We had a tennis court up here that I told you we covered up because I can't stand looking at it because I brought in tennis pros from Aberdeen, Dundee, and Edinburgh to make them play tennis 4 hours a day, every day. Rain, sleet, snow. I built a golf course to make sure they could play 6, 8, 10, 12 holes a day, every fucking day in between tennis. They don't like playing golf anymore. Same with karate. I can go down the list, boom, boom, boom. They had no free time. They couldn't even piss or take a shit. I overdid it because I knew this was possible. The Menendez brothers are up for parole after 35 years. They killed their parents in 1993 or something like that in Beverly Hills. They blew them apart with shotguns. They're up for parole. They're supposedly cured now. I don't think so. If I'm on that parole board, they're not getting out. What did my parents do? In the hood, I took ballroom dancing lessons from Arthur Murray and was a champ. Nobody did ballroom dancing in the hood. Got in a lot of fights. I took golf lessons free at Wilson Park. Nobody played golf in the hood. I took tennis lessons at Wilson Parker. Nobody played tennis, golf, and ballroom dance in the hood. I believed in Santa, Easter Bunny, and the Tooth Fairy till I was 11, 12 years old. I got in a lot of fights about that on campus. My parents would not allow anyone to speak Spanish in our house, and that was their native language, because they didn't want me to speak Spanish with an accent. Everybody in the neighborhood spoke Spanish, except me. I was raised using the book by Dr. Benjamin Spock, and the only music that was allowed in our house was classical, no mariachi. And here I am, and there you are. It could have been different. And back in the back of the recesses of your little pea brain, you know it could have been different, and that's why it's harder for you to make any kind of leap, let alone a quantum leap. But even beyond that, you can still do it. So that's not an excuse. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. And get this, we do not buy dinners or lunches or breakfast. Under no circumstance do you buy a motherfucking meal for anybody. One, you're all dead broke. That's for starters. And they're not used to going to Chipotle for lunch. So don't embarrass yourself. But if they invite you to their club, they're paying. But if they do that, they like what they read. Oh, by the way, I looked at many of your Facebooks. I would close all your Facebooks down. They're embarrassment. 100% of you. And for those of you that had pictures like that, I don't know, were you on drugs or what's wrong with you? It's not fucking funny. Just close them down. And you don't need a website. And you don't need business cards, which is contrary to, not everything, a lot of what you've been told.
And he was ruthless.
Gee whiz. What a fucking surprise. No me diga. Ay Dios mío. They're all the same. Elon's exactly the same. All of them are the same. But it's obviously you're concerned about the comfort zone, and you should be. And if it starts going sideways in the meeting, you shut the guy up right there, which will be hard for some of the younger guys. To shut up a 65-year-old guy who used to run E&Y for the Southwest in the United States, or the head of healthcare for entire Europe for PwC. That's not easy, but you better do it. I mean, I've seen guys get kicked under the table and give a dirty look. Now, I just said what the CFO meant to say, and you clean it up. Kind of like when they clean up something Biden or Trump says, you back it up. When I tell you the sun's not coming up tomorrow, gentlemen and lady, the motherfucking sun's not coming up. But you won't believe. I told everybody about interest rates and all this shit, but talk's cheap, you gotta do it. I walked into a hospital in London 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there were 6 people behind the reception desk. 2 were answering phones, 4 were on their cell phone. Most people don't deserve a fucking job. And you perpetuating, making a self-fulfilling prophecy that these people keep jobs when they should be out of work. That's not this model. And like the slide I show you, it's 131 years before male-female equality. 171 years before male-female equality in income. Why worry about it? Forget about it. That's like the asteroid's gonna hit us and, you won't live long enough to see equality for your daughters. It's not gonna happen. But Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that money is 3rd or 4th or 5th on the list of the things to have satisfied and fulfilled employees. After 53 years, and you listen to Rebecca, you listen to Belgian Waffle, and you listen to Jason Nag, the only thing that counts is fucking cash. And they would rather be paid cash than in their account. All the rest is bullshit. But I've been through 6 economic cycles. The 3 largest sovereign funds in the world don't talk to me because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. They spent an hour with Obama, an hour and a half with Clinton, and 2.5 fucking days with me. When China was trying to save the sovereign fund, who did they come to? Me. I'm a smart motherfucker. And I have a lot of respect for the Israeli government. They picked me to find oil and gas. Not Shell, not Exxon, not fucking Mobil, not Occidental. Me. When I tell you, you can go to Costa Mesa and rape, pillage, plunder, kill, slaughter, I know what I'm talking about. Metaphorically speaking, of course.
As a CEO and CFO at the beginning, we bring them with equity and then salary along the way when we're getting big.
I told you, nobody gets any salaries until you cash flow. And that's normally between the 3rd and 5th deal. And the only people that are gonna get paid anything are the CEO and the CFO first, not you, not fucking you. And then when you cash flow salary, commensurate with the charts. I've been at this long enough and I'm coaching now, 2nd generation. And just think about the Carling's boy, 16 years old, rolling up sports punts, traveling in with his lawyers and shit. I mean, Unbelievable. I am fucking high as God. A good part of his childhood he skipped. Well, you didn't skip your childhood, look where you are.
One way is like you did, do a JV with the actual
It's not a J, God damn it, quit calling it that.
partnership. And
You
so-
use those words, I mean, believe me, words are important. It's like you don't say contingent under any set of circumstances. Some of the banks are gonna try to trick fuck you. Some of the accounting firms are gonna try to trick fuck you. Some of the lawyers, oh, this is contingent, and then you're gonna say yes, and it's dead. They're gonna write that in your fucking file, black, yellow, purple moron. That's why you have the fucking script. Use them. Notwithstanding the first 12 or 14 years of my life, they said I was a dunce, I was an idiot, I was a mongoloid. And they put me with a dunce camp. Now just imagine if you had been put in a dunce camp your first 12 or 14 years of your life, and they said you were retarded. And you shit your pants in the closet because they kept you in the closet until your parents came to pick you up. Where would you be today? It's a miracle I've been able to do this 31 years. But I like yelling, I like confrontation. If I was a mealy-mouthed cunt like you, I would have quit 28 years ago. But I like it. And I like seeing the kids I mean, when I see the black guy, fuck. Hope springs eternal, you know? That they can do that. But then I turn around and look at the audience and I can see that like your cat just died because you don't believe it. Or more importantly, you know you can't do it. That's the dead-eye look that you got in your fucking eyes. How can you not believe? Because you've got no self-esteem and your parents didn't teach you anything. The world's fucked up. I mean, it's fucked up. When you go home, find out who did the reserve report. What you explain to me is not possible without them knowing. So you got fucked. Because you'd be embarrassed. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay.